Can you just stop stalling and answer the question? What is your third favorite movie of all time? Paddington 2. I cried through the entire thing. It made me want to be a better man. Welcome to Should You Watch This with the Popcorn Priest, a weekly podcast where movie enthusiasts, current and ex-movie theater projectionists, new and old friends take the time to talk about a movie that we just watched and answer that very question, should or shouldn't you watch this? All right, let's listen to the trailer for The Unbearable
Weight of Massive Talent.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
The Unbearable Massive Talent of Giant Weight.
From 2022.
Nick, you've been living at the Sunset Tower for over a year.
They love having me there.
You owe them $600,000.
Okay, I'm gonna deal with all that, but I'm gonna get this next role. And when I do, all of that changes. Then I'm back.
Not that you went anywhere.
Nic Cage, oh my God, I love you. He was so good in The Rock.
What about Gone in 60 Seconds?
Have you seen Croods 2?
No, I'm 44 years old. Why the fuck would I see Croods 2? I've seen Face Off and Con Air.
We got another offer.
What's it about?
You head to southern Spain and you attend a wealthy gentleman's birthday party.
This is a Red Band trailer,
I
obviously.
would never do that.
It's $1 million, Nick.
I'll take it. The guy that owns this house, what's his name?
Javi.
Look, if Javi wants me to fuck his wife or watch me watch him fuck his wife, that's a no-go. You understand? That's no bueno.
It's no plan.
Nic Cage.
Nicolas Cage?
I am so happy that you're
I thought
here.
for sure she was saying Cruise 2, and I was like, does she mean Cruise like Speed 2 with like the boat?
Yeah, after they said it 2 or 3 times, I was like, okay, that's Crudes too. Joining me today
We'll get to the introduction eventually.
is Brain Rap Marines, a.k.a. Up in the Air Cole and Noble Gas Tribe.
AKA Noise Man.
Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Normal.
I'm Noise Man and he's Normal Man.
I'm normal.
So,
just a normal
I went
guy.
back into the archives, Noble Gas Tribe, because you were like, I don't know why that is my
He
nickname.
got deep in that vault.
Because I know you wouldn't go and listen to yourself. So we were talking about nicknames that dealt with the movie theater, like, because we all worked at the theater.
No, it was because of Xenon gas. I know it was the Xenon gas
Xenon
and the
gas.
bulbs.
And you're
but
like, yeah, that it's a noble gas.
it is a noble gas.
So then we just switched it from Xenon Gas Tribe to Noble Gas Tribe.
I think Xenon gas tribe's better.
You didn't want it.
Yeah,
We can call you Bright Headlights Tribe.
I mean, I'm constantly at war with my past selves. So
So that's why. That's why we do what we do. But welcome to the show, gentlemen.
sins of the past.
I think this will be the first movie in 10 years that I'm going to like that Cole has selected.
Whatever. I'm not. You're forgetting The Handmaid's Tale or whatever that
That
was.
is it.
He
That
picked
is-
Heat.
Yeah.
No, that was me, wasn't it?
No, you're not going to pick. I'm going to pick Heat before you do any day.
Bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Collateral.
yeah.
Oh, I hope you pick Collateral.
I did. It was
Well, it was
back
way-
when your kids were
it
born.
was forever
Oh, that's
ago.
right. We hadn't started recording podcasts
Yeah.
back then.
Hey,
But
you
we
like
need-
Macbeth. We just couldn't hear the dialogue that well
I
because it was in
hated
Old English.
Macbeth.
It was not
terrible.
yeah.
It was great.
It looked cool. I don't know.
It was not good. Not that good. Anyway, well, we're here to review The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent from 2022. The details description for this is, in this action-packed comedy, Nicolas Cage plays Nic Cage with a CK, channeling his iconic characters as he's caught between a superfan, Pedro Pascal, and a CIA agent, Tiffany Haddish.
Also known as Cole's 10-year plan.
That's a crappy description.
It
huh?
is because
It's-
it's such a minor. Like Tiffany Haddish is barely in it. Same with the other CIA guy. Like
Ike Barinholtz. They're
like
only in it for about 10 minutes.
They're a plot point. Like it matters. Like but
It's-
it's not the movie.
It's the MacGuffin inside the crazy
pretty
movie.
much. It's kind of more of a plot device than anything else than like actual structure of the movie.
Yeah. I like those characters.
Yeah, they're fun. They're in there briefly.
And what's his name? I don't think I even wrote his name. He's not top billed, but that comedian I really like.
Ike Barinholtz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
his
Mad
name.
TV
Yeah,
guy.
the other dude.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the top build stars and who's it directed by, Tom Gormican. His sophomore outing. His first film was That Awkward Moment.
With Miles Teller and Zac Efron, isn't it?
And Michael B. Jordan is in it,
Yeah,
too.
some weird.
I didn't see that. Did any of you guys see
It's
that?
just it was like a cheap Valentine's Day movie they threw out.
Really?
Yeah, it was bad.
How did this guy get to do this?
Apparently, he sent the script to Cage. It started out as they started out with Cage, and then it morphed into this crazy story. But then he sent him some kind of like fan love letter appreciation, like, here's why I want to make this.
So
here's why I think it'd be funny.
It is the movie. It
influenced him.
This movie is adaptation and are very similar to.
It's an action adventure, yeah. It's basically if they got to make adaptation.
Well, I think he did a great job. So thanks, Tom. Top build stars, Nicolas Cage as Nic Cage, Pedro Pascal, and Tiffany Haddish. So runtime is 1 hour, 47 minutes, which I think is great. Rated R, genre on Rotten Tomatoes says comedy action versus IMDb's action comedy crime.
There's vague mention of crime.
So I looked this up, and I told you guys I did it last time that I looked this up and I didn't bring it up. But here's the description for action defined by IMDb.
They have a rubric.
It's deep in here.
That is incredible.
Don't go looking for it. That's why I'm here.
How long does it take you to do it?
To find this?
Yeah.
It's like a deep like links and anyway.
Wait, is this
their standard?
Is this the like actual film rating board, or is this IMDb?
No, I think
This is how IMDb says,
standard.
hey,
How they
if you're
categorize
going
things.
to put a movie on our space,
the master of
this
the
is
database.
how we decide.
Okay.
Which does make sense because you can just add things to it if
So these are their guidelines. So this is what they say for action. I'm not going to read all of them because there's
Action's the main one. I think that
Action,
the primary offender.
comedy, and then we'll do crime.
Drama.
Crime. Those three. Okay. Action says should contain numerous scenes where action is spectacular and usually destructive. Often includes nonstop motion, high energy physical stunts, chases, battles, and destructive crises. Floods, explosions, natural disasters, fires, etc. Note, if a movie contains just one action scene, even if prolonged, i.e. airplane accident, it does not qualify. They give 3 examples.
So United 93 wouldn't be action.
I guess
I
not.
wouldn't think so. I wouldn't call it that.
These are the 3 examples. Die Hard, The Avengers, and Wonder Woman are action movies.
Okay, good description. Good basis.
So here's comedy. Virtually all scenes should contain characters participating in humorous or comedic experiences. The comedy can be exclusively for the viewer or at the expense of the characters in the title or to be shared with them.
The characters in the title.
And it says, please submit qualifying keywords to better describe the humor, i.e. spoof, parody, irony, slapstick, blah, 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 blah. Isn't that crazy?
That is really interesting. Like,
I pity the person who
when I
has
think
to
of,
be
like,
on the monitoring board to decide what goes into what category
with,
when they're
Tim and
submitted.
Eric, like $1 billion movie, like how did they interpret that? It's like, this isn't funny to me. I'm not enjoying it.
There should be a subjective tag for comedy because that movie doesn't make sense at all.
Here's crime. Whether the protagonists or antagonists are criminals, this should contain numerous consecutive and interrelated scenes of characters participating, aiding, abetting, and or planning criminal behavior or experiences, usually for an illicit goal.
Does one of the characters need shifty eyes? Do people not know it's a crime if there's no
Not to
shifty
be
eyes?
confused with film noir, and only sometimes should be supplied with it.
Wait. Now
What does that even mean?
Now I have to know what film noir definition
Film
is.
noir, I mean, that's specifically refers to like the black and white, like
Suspense,
criminal,
more
yeah,
slow
from like the
moving.
1950s, like, and then the neo noir, which is like what Chinatown is.
Oh, you're right. Kiss, kiss, bang, bang.
Yeah.
So
kind of the
here's
opposite of it.
the 3 examples they give for crime. Pulp Fiction, The Usual Suspects, and Fargo.
They picked the 3 worst ones to put in that category.
No, those are crime movies.
Well, they're crime, but they're also very layered films with a lot of other things in them.
Do you want to?
Fargo would be more
now
of a
you got
comedy.
me interested in film noir. I'm going to read that one too. typically features dark, brooding characters, corruption,
shifty eyes,
detectives, and the seedy side of the big city. Almost always shot in black and white, American and set in contemporary times. We take the view that this genre began with Underworld 1927 and ended with Touch of Evil from 1958.
That was a good show.
Note: neo-noir should be submitted as a keyword instead of this genre for titles that do not fit all criteria.
What Underworld 1927?
Yeah.
I thought it was M. I got to look that one up and see.
Underworld 1927 and Touch of Evil from 1958.
I watched a bunch of more films.
Touch of Evil.
I don't remember any of them.
Touch of Evil is the Orson Welles one where he plays the fat sheriff that's corrupt in Mexico and Charlton Heston, and he's like,
sure? Is that the one? Is that the one where he's a Nazi hiding out in America?
No, that's
that one's good.
That's a good one. That's something else. Touch of Evil is the one with Charlton Heston.
Well, there you got it.
I'm glad that they actually have a rubric there, because sometimes I object, but now that I know their standards, I'm like, okay, sure.
Hollywood standards vary.
I still think it's really funny.
I mean, I wouldn't say this is much of an action movie. It's a comedy with action scenes in it, but there is more than one. Mm-hmm. So by their standards, yes.
Yeah, I feel like Rotten Tomatoes got it better than IMDb, but...
But, we don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is doing.
Speaking of their ratings, IMDb gives us a 7.2 out of 10, which is pretty high from 37,000 reviews. Rotten Tomatoes gives us an 86% from 284 critic ratings and 87% from 1,000 plus audience ratings.
Well, I mean, considering we've done a lot of Nic Cage recently too, I think it's the best one he's made in a while.
No,
except for Mandy. It was better than Color Out of Space, though.
Pig is good. Color from Outer Space is also good.
I need to see Pig.
I do too. The trailer makes it look so strange.
It is not what you would think it is.
I'm sure it isn't. At the time of this recording, you can only purchase this movie, or if you choose the highest tier of our Patreon account, you'll have access to the Popcorn Priest permanent collection. Go to patreon.com/Popcorn Priest for details. And now this brings us to Popcorn Reviews the Reviews. This is where I read a couple of reviews, and you get to hear them. I usually pick the best of the best and the bottom of the barrel, so you can hear what people think.
How did you do that?
Are these people or
you didn't
are
hit
these
the button.
publications? Like, are these just user reviews?
What?
Are these just user reviews or are these like publications?
These are IMDb user reviews.
Oh,
he's appealing to common decency, so only common reviews should matter.
That's right. This is the common man.
We are for the common man.
We don't care who's pretending to be Roger
those
Ebert.
people in their ivory tower like newspapers
that don't have to pay $27 to see Nic Cage in a New York theater.
And sometimes I pick from Rotten Tomatoes as well, but this time it was just IMDb.
Okay.
So, Lebowski69.
Oh, okay, that's his name. I was like, what?
Says, unimpressive. Don't understand what all the talk was about this one. People are so desperate to love something so mediocre. Very substandard Hollywood fare. 2 hours I'll never get back. 3 out of 10 stars.
Wow.
E.R. Agi says, all the hype for nothing. I didn't like this at all, and I'm a super Cage fan. It was juvenile and cheesy. I really, really, really want my $20 back, and I want people to stop overhyping films on IMDb.
It's like, he's the moron here, but he's like all mad at other people. It's like, how dare you all have lied to me?
He gives it a 1 out of 10 stars.
He just doesn't get jokes. That's his problem.
What? Yeah, man.
Kaiser Soze 79 says big Cage
These
fan
people are
here.
Clowns, man. Like, how is this all of their usernames?
I don't know, dude.
According to a serious Coen Brothers 720.
Big Cage fan, says Kaiser Soze 79, and he says, I loved it. I think I put my neck out laughing so much. All I knew was Nic Cage made a movie where he played himself and so far had great ratings. I'll leave it at that. 10 out of 10. And the last review is from Red Croissant.
Okay.
He says, he has risen. Nic Cage is, well, back. But it's not like he went anywhere. 10 of 10.
Yeah, no, I disagree. He didn't go anywhere. He's been killing it forever.
He's gotten better with his script choices. Willy's Wonderland could have used some work, but
he didn't even have to do anything in that.
He didn't even
I think
speak.
that was
That was a horrible movie.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not good.
Did you pick that one?
it was
or did
me.
I?
Yeah, no, I did.
Oh,
I wanted to see
that makes
it.
sense.
After Mandy, I was like, I'll do Willy's Wonderland. We'll have
Oh,
like
you picked Mandy?
Yeah.
Okay, then there's
that's what I mean.
another one that I like.
Apparently, I've been doing all the Nic Cage recently.
Mandy is very
Mandy's
cool.
sick. Yeah,
It's
I
very
need to
good.
watch that.
that's
one
why
again.
like saying he's back. It's like
I think I did Color Out of
Space.
Space too. I think that was also me.
No, we were going to do it, and I picked.
Oh,
That's right. And I had seen it. It was a whole thing.
it was because
It was
that
a
was during
logistical
the pandemic because I remember I had to watch it
Yeah.
at home and I
Yeah.
fell asleep halfway
Quote,
through.
unquote, dirty.
Yeah, and we never we never recorded our podcast. We
Yeah.
all watched it, but
That's right. I remember
never
now.
got around
It's
to it.
coming back to me.
we could bring it back.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
10 years is a lot to remember.
It's such a weird movie, but anyway, let's get into. Should you watch this? Should or shouldn't you watch this? I'm saying 5 reasons why you should watch this. Please add to the list. Number 1, Nic Cage. Number 2, Nicolas Cage. Number 3, Pedro Pascal. I think is arguably better than Nick.
Oh,
in
he's-
this movie.
That's the
yeah.
thing. Like, if it
Like,
was only,
I really like Nick,
if it was
but-
only focused on Nick, you would have gotten tired of it like long
no,
ago.
it's- Yeah.
But Pedro's like the perfect mix of
Yeah, the
trying to be-
fanboy relationship
yeah,
stuff.
it's like his meeting his icon and his idol, like at his private island, is hilarious.
I mean, just the way
Demeanor.
he moves his facial expressions when he's around him.
Well, the LSD scene when he's
unbelievable.
just smiling driving the car was hilarious. Like it looks like his face was stuck.
But him
like-
like describing after like his like kind of prickly first meeting with him, he's like, it was incredible.
I wasn't going to bring it up, and if he brought it up, then yeah,
And when
but I
he's-
wasn't going to tell him.
When he was talking about his height, he was like, "It was perfect."
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's real good in it. Yeah, for sure.
So that's my number 3. Number 4, I mentioned this before, but I love that it's an hour and 47 minutes. I think that deserves to be on the list.
The pacing is really good because you're not really sure where it's going. Like it takes a few twists and turns, but it's like the perfect length too. It doesn't really try and hammer anything into the ground.
And number 5, Nicholas Kim Coppola.
CGI Nic Cage is pretty interesting to watch.
I like that you add that. That's not my number 5, but I think that's a really funny addition. My number 5 is the acid trip sequence is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, that was real good. Yeah,
I
the
mean-
paranoia. Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah, we're not spoiling it because you see part of that in the trailer. But
Yeah, blame them.
the trailer
The
is
trailer,
pretty
yeah.
messed up.
Hollywood marketing.
Yeah, blame them. They're the real villains here.
But I mean, it's
I don't know if this. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, any other reasons why to watch Massive Talent from 2022? Before we get into by the numbers.
if anything, it makes me wish they'd do a Harold and Kumar 4 because Neil Patrick Harris
Oh yeah.
is amazing no matter what he's doing.
Yeah, I really like Neil Patrick Harris in this. He only has, 3 or 4 scenes, but he's really great.
What another reason to see? It's like, did you like Tropic Thunder? Did you like Adaptation?
Oh yeah, Tropic Thunder is a great idea.
These are similar movies about like behind the scene acting comedy stuff.
And the Nic Cage that you see in the movie is no way like not the Nic Cage in real life, which
Yeah,
is also the other funny
yeah.
joke about it, that he's this committed, normal family man outside of work that just wants to
Well, I mean,
get his
I
face
thought
out
that
there.
I thought the premise was that he wasn't the greatest family man because of his.
Oh, no, you're right. True.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like a heightened.
it's
Nic
it
Cage.
feels heightened, but also less than like even what everyone seems to think. Because I think he's a lot more eccentric than even like they're trying to portray him here.
There is, if you should go out and look this up, he was on Jimmy Kimmel. Apparently he hadn't been on like any interviews for many years. And it was like the first time he'd been on Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel he's like, listen, I want to do the normal interview, but I just have all these questions that I want to ask you about like weird rumors about you. And he goes through
Oh yeah, no,
all these crazy purchases
like
where he bought a 2-headed snake.
It's like, did you buy a castle? Do you have like a dinosaur skull?
he had like 80
all that
motorcycles. Like at the time when like Gone in 60 Seconds, when he was married to what's his name, Elvis's daughter, he had like it's like Johnny Depp, the amount of crap that he was buying was insane.
Well, he goes through, and it's funny because you're like, oh, this can't be true. And he's going to set the record straight. And he almost basically like one, let's say it's 9, he switches it to 8. Like if it's a 9 to 10 on the scale of truth, he just dials it back one notch. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's true.
It's like, I bought a castle from Ireland. It's like, well, it was from Scotland.
Yeah, it's something like that. Exactly. Go look it up. It's the most amazing.
How he's already got his plot picked out in New Orleans in the graveyard for when he dies.
Yeah, he's got like a pyramid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
I think it's still got his name on it. Yeah.
Well,
for God's sake, just give me the damn number!
All right, by the numbers, box office haul.
And granted, this has only been out for about 6 weeks.
Well, I mean, but its theatrical release is pretty much done, so.
Yeah, true. What do you think the budget was?
35 million.
50 million.
Close, 30 million.
Had to have been low. It seems like they shot in a random location.
This number is probably slightly higher than, because I found 3 different numbers. But what do you think the worldwide box office haul is?
120 million.
56.
28.
Dang.
That sucks balls.
That's unfortunate.
It'll make its money back on like home runs and like in-home viewing. I'm sure like word of mouth kind of deal too.
True.
It was right before Doctor Strange as well, theatrical release, like a week before or 2 weeks before, I think, which killed all the like buzz.
It's so good. Well, here's some more numbers. Within the film, Nicolas Cage has a daughter. In actuality, he has 2 sons, Weston, who is 25, and Kal-El, who is 15, and a 3rd child on the way.
Isn't he like 61?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
This is Nicolas Cage's 100th film role.
Wow, really?
It's a good one to do.
That's crazy.
Pedro Pascal wrecked 14 prop cars during the acid trip running scene, where he was required to bounce off the bonnet of a car. He was unhurt during this stunt.
Where he took it to the windshield? Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
The 3rd movie where Nicolas Cage plays 2 characters. Can you name all the other 2?
Adaptation, for sure.
Face Off.
And Face Off, yep, you're right. Filming began in the Croatian city of Dubrovnik on October 5th, 2020. Preparations for filming began in August and was to be shot in Dubrovnik for 15 days.
Technically, Family Man could be the 3rd film because technically he's a New York businessman living the life of a pretend family man in New Jersey only changes his ways at the end of the film. So technically there could be a 3rd movie
That's
in
an
there.
honorable mention. I would say it is one. That's good. I like that. Can you believe they filmed this in 15 days?
Wow. Well,
that's insane.
Considering it was all on the private island in that mansion, they didn't really have many different locations they went.
I think that'd be difficult, but I think you can do it. It's
I bet. I mean, with a lot of planning, but still, it's pretty cool that.
So
they could do
whoever
that.
was running the production there probably had it really.
A lot of the stunts were. There's quite a bit of action in it. I mean, there's not a lot, but there's enough that.
Oh yeah, there's some.
Yeah, they would have to do stuff. Yeah,
there would have to be coordination, especially for all the driving.
This is the 2nd time in a movie where Nic Cage sings Happy Together. He performed the same song in another meta movie called Adaptation.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure the people who wrote this movie definitely saw Adaptation.
Yeah, for sure. Despite its long title, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is not actually the longest titled Nic Cage movie. The longest Cage theatrical feature film with 8 words is Bad Lieutenant :
Oh yeah,
Port of Call, New
that
Orleans.
is an incredible movie.
Werner Herzog to a T.
Man.
I have not seen that.
You'll never look at lizards the same way.
Yeah,
again.
no, that movie is wild. That's a great one.
It's Nic Cage.
That was like that was right
really
around like the point where like my like ironic Nic Cage fandom just like transformed into like, oh no, he's genuinely like one of the greats. It's like, this is incredible.
Is it? Could I handle it? You guys?
Yeah,
know
no,
me.
it's.
I think so.
It's just like a gritty detective story, like post Katrina, New Orleans.
Yeah,
okay.
I think
no, you'd like it. It's a good show.
It's yes.
All right, I'll put it on the list.
It's got Eva Mendes in it as his love interest.
The longest title of all of Cage's film productions was a made-for-television film and has 9 words. Industrial Symphony No. 1, The Dream of the Brokenhearted from 1990.
Oh, like what?
And you know why that's in this? Is because it's a number, okay? There's numbers in here, guys. And it's by the numbers.
He has done so many things, though. It's like I feel like it's not even possible to watch them all.
True. Is there anything you want to talk about before we break and come back next week to talk about all the trivia and all of our takes on it?
You left out one of the best tidbits.
It's a fun movie.
That when Nic Cage was originally reading for the movie, he wanted the characters to swap so that Pedro's character was played by Nic Cage, who was like a super fan of himself.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up next week, but no, go ahead.
Look, what you doing, man?
They were trying to make it like, oh no, they were trying to make it would have made it way too meta, whereas Nic Cage playing the ultimate Nic Cage fan who's like honoring himself on an island, like I don't know how you'd work it, but just the thought of it sounds a little too extreme, like being John Malkovich times 1,000.
Actually, I didn't. It says Nic Cage thought Javi was the best written character in the movie, so much so he even asked to trade parts, as he thought playing his own biggest fan was more
Which
meta
is
than
exactly something
himself.
that Nic Cage would suggest.
And you know what? That would have been probably not financially viable to do. I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah. And according to him, Nic Cage, he says it wasn't until Pedro was cast that he eventually relented and said, okay, I'll play myself. That's kind of cool, though.
Wasn't there something like where he was going to, like in Mandy, he was like, the guy wanted to like play the cult leader or something. He was like, I want to be the main guy.
Yeah.
He's like, you're like 30 years older than he would be, but okay.
Do you think that Cosmatos, Cosmatos, whatever his name is, will do another movie?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if you look at his like IMDb page, it seems weird. His trajectory is really weird.
I mean, a lot of times it's just hard to get smaller budget stuff made, so it bounces around forever.
That's right. As this movie said, you know,
it was amazing. Well, any other parting thoughts?
I'm saving them for my opinions on the movie.
Okay. Well, I'm on the social medias. I dare you to message the great Popcorn Priest at Popcorn Priest. I love movies and would love it if you'd share the love. Share this with the movie lover in your life. Another way to support the show is by throwing a few shekels at the priest. Visit patreon.com/Popcorn Priest and see what extra perks you can enjoy. Lastly, the easiest way to support the show and the most free is liking and subscribing and giving us a 5-star review. Easier than starting your car. Easier than starting Brain Rapperines' car.
You just have to walk up to it.
Yes. Always, as always, thanks for listening, and thanks to my guests, Brain Rapperines and Noble Gas Tribe.
Normal guys.
Did you ever smell it when the film caught on fire?
Yes.
It was the worst smell in the world.
Yes. I remember when they told we all had to go through a brain wrap. At least I did when I was
I don't remember that.
And Jake,
where he caused one.
He like showed me how to cause one, and then we did it, and it burnt up, and it was horrible.
Oh, it's awful.
And it looks exactly like
when it happens on the screen, like it's exactly as it's portrayed.
When you see it on film,
you are literally seeing it melt in front of the lens. Yeah,
it's crazy. And I had Jake cut it.
The burnt out piece of it.
And I think it was like Avatar. I'm not sure, but we burnt up something crazy like that. But
it's like a trailer.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you coming, and join us next week for part 2 of the unbearable weight of massive talent. We'll see you guys next week.
Massive tumors.
Massive tumors.